I'm going to get back to that story, Sonny. Just, just you listen to Boomer Great One. He's going to tell you about how it was back in the olden days, back before fire, back when we walked uphill for everything. In fact, we didn't even have a concept of downhill because there was no downhill. Everything was uphill. We thought that was normal. We didn't even have a word for it because there was no alternative. It was uphill all the time. You just need to reach down and grab yourselves by your bootstraps and pull yourselves up, Sonny. Because when I was your age, I bought a house for $25,000. And I made that money on my paper route and bussing tables at the local cafe. And if I could do it, you can do it too. You just need to reach down and pull yourself up and just buckle up there, buckaroo. God, I hate boomers.
You guys want to hear the world's greatest asshole consulting request? Listen to this. From Wilson. I want an Aaron Clary original. I sent you $35. Do not reply unless you need more money. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. He knew the price. He already made the payment. I want original. Not, hey, I want a Cappy original. I want you to talk about this. So this is not necessarily going to be a lengthy original. But not all topics need some kind of 8-hour, what was it? The Alan McLaughlin group analysis. But akin to the Scooby-Doo mystery, the Scooby-Doo. Oh my gosh. Men aren't working. Oh my God. Men aren't dating. Oh my goodness. What's going on, huh? And here we have everybody east of the Smoky Mountains with their horseshit degrees from blue blood Ivy League colleges with degrees in social sciences to tell each other what they think's happening to the rest of the country. What do you think, Professor Fuckwitz? And how long have we been talking about this? This is the article I'm going to read because I did a little bit of research. I was kind of like, well, what are the idiots? What do the idiots east of the Smoky Mountains who live on the Atlantic? What do the idiots think? Why do they think there's declining birth rate? I know the reasons. What do they think? The article's 2021. Well, it's 3 years after that. So we're talking 5 years really since we've gone to code red on this whole dropping fertility, right? Beforehand, people mentioned it, but it's been around for like 10 years. Have we solved the problem? Well, we sure have talked about it a lot, though, haven't we? Oh, my goodness. Declining birth rates. Oh, no. Make women thin again. That was my recommendation. That's just very short. I mean, there'd have to be a lot of things to happen, but making women attractive again would be a step in the right direction. So we're not gonna. You want something that's really insulting? Make women thin again and train women to say yes occasionally. So the birth rate's going to continue to drop. There's more to it than that, but that's a factor. There's no doubt that's a factor. But so I was sitting there thinking, I saw it was a handoff. The handoff, right? How many of you participated in the handoff, right? Handing off that thing to your ex. That thing you and your ex had, right? You fought about it, but you don't really like it that much because you got divorced. You call it the child. I just call it the thing because it doesn't have a soul, does it? The handoff taking place in a Target, shopping, Walmart, their parking lot. Saw it happen a lot at a gas station. I don't know why. That must be where all the cool, divorced, hip kids trade off their things, right? It's your turn to watch over thing. I'm going to fight over thing. We love things so much we brought it into a chaotic household and it's mentally disabled because we argue and yell all the time. I love my kids so much. That's why we argue and fight and ruin and destroy the family. So much I love thing. They always hand off thing. It's some in ignanimous. Is that the word? Hang on. I want let's make this a vocabulary lesson. One ignanimous, ig ignominious, meaning something is humiliating, degrading, or shameful. Okay, I was kind of in the right ballpark. I would say humiliating or degrading, just kind of just just you know. Well, I'll be at the Biffy over on 3rd and Main Street. Meet me there after I take my dump and we can swap out thing. No, I'm not going easy on you divorced parents. You're horrible people. If you're just divorced, there weren't no kids involved, okay. But if you got divorced while your kids were under the age of 18, you're horrible people. Horrible. Just horrible. Some of the worst people ever. No, not my opinion you got to worry about. It's your kid's opinion. So I was watching the handoff. And like, this is just me, but poverty, I would say, would probably be the main thing where there was no stability, which does come from a broken home. And I'm not from a generation of, generations of welfare family. We just collect welfare and spit out kids and then collect more welfare and wonder why we're poor all the time because we don't understand the concept of per capita. And I also knew I was smart enough to know, well, I don't care how much money you give me. I mean, okay, you gave me $1 billion and maybe I'd have a kid, but I knew for the amount of whatever tax benefit and free food you might get, your life is over. You're watching, especially infants, you got to be 24/7. I knew I didn't have the time. I got this thing called vasectomy, took matters into my own hands. And now I fully determine whether or not I have a thing. But I just the poverty was one thing, but the other thing, yeah, divorce. Your parents get divorced. That fucking sucks, man. That fucking sucks. And though we occasionally did make trips to the daycare facility, it wasn't anywhere near what other kids I knew and more moderately to kids today because it's thing, right? You don't need to look. This is on par with destroying the nuclear family. This is on par with watching your parents get divorced. And that is daycare, where you don't love your child enough to raise it. Shut up! Don't give a fuck. It's two incomes. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It really does not. I've seen people's financial statements. I know where your money goes. You all buy other things. This is why they're called Cadillac kids. You don't care about your children as much as you care about things and stuff. Knock it the fuck off. You're not going to get any sympathy. I know you people. I see your behaviors through your credit reports. That right there, you'll never get. This is the hill I'll die on. If you're not going to stay at home and raise the kid, again, I don't care if it's the mom or the dad or tag team, somebody should stay the fuck home and raise the kid. And if you outsource your kid to daycare, then why did you fucking have it? Again, I'm going to take the radical position that you should raise your fucking kids, not outsource them to some randos. And I don't know for a fact. I found this article. It seems to come from a population study bureau, so it should be reasonably authoritative. But kind of, oh my God, why aren't guys getting married? Why, oh my goodness. So Scooby-Doo mystery. And then we have CNN and Fox News, and then everybody with it. Oh my goodness, Matt Walsh, what do you think? We just haven't found Jesus yet. Wait, we've been looking for him for a long time. I'm surprised we haven't found him yet. They just need to find Jesus. Well, didn't Dennis Prager and his gang murder him? It's a good joke. It's a good joke. Off color. Good religious joke. Dennis Prager's Jewish. No insult to the man intended. And the double entendre is that Dennis Prager is also very pro-religion and classical traditional family and all that. And they're like, I can't figure out why men aren't getting married. Oh my goodness. I can't figure it out when their dads all got divorced all the time. It really is a Scooby Doo mystery. So I wanted to know, is there another Scooby Doo mystery happening here? Where it's my generation now, maybe less so mine and more the millennials, but the millennials and Gen X were brought up by boomers. Boomers, I don't know if you knew this, but if you had invested in, like, say, Colgate, Palmolive, Procter and Gamble, people that made lotion and bandages, you would have made a fortune because the baby boomers were jerking off so furiously to the amount of divorce they were wreaking on the country. Their hands would blister and then have to like get lotion and then bandages because of all the masturbating they did to the amount of divorce. They're just like, oh my God, like jackhammering it, man. They were just real excited about divorce. And I'm from a divorced family. God, about half the kids I knew parents got divorced. How many are actually happily? That's another issue. They just look around, and I don't know. It's kind of like McNamara speculating what was happening in the Vietnam War instead of asking the frontline soldiers what was happening. That's some history requirement you would need. Why don't you go talk to your frontline troops? The frontline troops were basically Gen X and millennials who were brought up by boomers, saw the parents get divorced. And they're the ones not having kids. Now, I can't say what was going on in the trench next over to me that was staffed by the millennial brigade, as in, like, I don't know, had episodes and freaked out all the time. But I know in my trench, the divorce, it was like, I'm not getting married. And then, surprise, parents get divorced or they weren't together in the first place. You're typically going to suffer a little bit financially. So there wasn't a lot of money. And the daycare, the handful of times, man, I hated it. I hated fucking daycare. I think most kids do too. And I can only speculate now, maybe go over to the millennial trench. Where's the millennial trench? It's tuned over there to the east. Go talk to them. How can I tell it's the millennial trench? They're the ones not throwing the grenades far enough because they lack the arm strength. They never played baseball as kids. Look out for grenades. They don't throw them too far. I got to imagine you guys probably had it the worst with your girl boss mom just shipping you right out to daycare so mommy and daddy could work and buy shit. Go to Europe. You need that SUV. You need granite countertops. Now, there's others, to get the birth rate. One, you should probably have faith in your country, not running up debt, letting foreigners come and invade, not giving a fuck about the locals, making it so people who start out young can't find entry-level jobs because you flooded the labor market with immigrant and what's that? Low skill entry level, and then also requiring ridiculous levels of college education to get educated. That would probably demoralize people from having kids. Well, as I said, poverty is probably number one up there. Because that was another reason where I couldn't afford kids. That was a big factor in it. But I gotta imagine watching your family get blown up, the consequences of mental and financial pain that came with that. And then if you were outsourced to daycare, holy fuck, why would you have kids? You didn't have a fun childhood. So let's see what the experts say, shall we? Oh my God, the birth rates are going down. We need more kids so they can be enslaved to pay Social Security and Medicare for us old people. Which that's what it is. So titled, Why is the Birth Rate Declining? This is the prb.org. I don't know what this is. Okay. American women average more than 7 children each until the early decades of the 19th century. After 1900, average fertility declined gradually, interrupted only by the baby boom following World War II. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's going down. What contributes to changing fertility patterns? Dropped during times of economic decline, Great Depression, 1970s oil shocks. So poverty is one. Lasted 5 and up. But the decade following the 2008 recession, fertility rates continued to fall, with the exception of 2013, 2014, where they increased slightly. Between 2007 and 2020, the TFR in the United States declined. Total fertility rate 2.1 to 1.6 decline may signal longer-term drop in lifetime fertility shaped by broader social factors, including postponement of marriage and childbearing to older ages, and long-term increases in women educational attainment and labor force participation. Although most American women say they expect to have at least 2 children, many women delay childbearing because they don't believe in menopause. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Because Google and Apple promised that they'd freeze their eggs, and then the egg freezing bank got the power cut, and they lost all the batch of eggs. Oh, no, that's different. That's an article from where else. Look it up. Although most American women say they expect to have at least 2 children, many women delay childbearing, whether by choice or circumstance, to the point they may end up having only 1 child and no children at all. 50% of U.S. women ages 40 to 44 in 2018 were childless. In 2011 to 2015, among American women ages 15 to 44, 20% had 2 children, 17 had 1 child, 18 had 3 or more, and 45% had no children. What accounts for these differences? Yes, I'm waiting for you to get there, Mr. Author of this report. Most predictable and obvious fertility differential is age, but education, race, religion, and many other socioeconomic and cultural factors influence childbearing. While modern technology has expanded the age span in which women can have children, few women give birth before age 15 or after age 50. How dare you, sir or madam, whoever's writing this? Birth rates by the age of mother. We just got to focus on age and not go into other. Mali, United States, South Korea. Oh, good Lord. No one has kids in South Korea. Age. I dropped it in the 60s, 70s. This could have just been a bullet point. It could have just been a bullet point. Teen birth rates relatively low. They're not. That was it. The title of the article is "Why is the U.S. birth rate declining?" And you just said, "'Cause age." Holy shit. PRB.org. Thanks. The mystery of the declining birth rate? Up to Great Reset. This decline cannot be explained by demographic, economic, or policy change. Oh, it can't? They're not even going to take a stab. According to this, we don't know. We don't know. Shocking, though, isn't it? Let's scratch our beards. It is reflective of lower childbearing rates across successive cohorts. Cannot be readily explained by changing population composition. Births fall among white women, black women, Hispanic women, with the largest declines among Hispanic women. So what, they're only having 14 kids instead of the regular 60? I kid. It's a joke. I kid because I care. Not lower birth rates. No obvious policy or government factors. The onset of the Great Recession clearly played a role in the early stages of the decline. Beyond that, it's difficult to identify any policy or economic factor that can statistically account for the continued decline. Casual observers have suggested the variety of potential factors responsible for the decline. Here we go, including greater take-up of highly effective contraception, the high cost of raising children, improved occupational opportunities for women, and the high level of student debt carried by. Yes, all yes. Not saying any of those are incorrect. Where is divorced parents in daycare? Where is it? Think back to Navarone. I'd rather not, sir. Think back to your parents getting divorced. Rather not, sir. What? Our research finds little empirical support for these possible explanations. Moreover, none of the measures that have been shown in previous research to have a causal effect on annual birth rates, such as labor market conditions, certain social policy indicators as child support enforcement, or reproductive health policy measures such as abortion clinic closures, have changed in ways that can account for the drop in the national birth. Shifting priorities. Okay, there's a survey and anecdotal data that's suggesting that perhaps more recent cohorts of young adults have different preferences for having children's aspirations for life and views about parenting norms that are driving the decline in U.S. birth rates. Are we close? These shifts could reflect preferences and norms that changed primarily in earlier decades, long before 2007, such as more intensive parenting practices and expanded economic opportunities for women in ways that profoundly shaped the world's views of today's younger adults. Can you say divorce and daycare? Sustained declining birth rate would have important social and economic consequences. You know what? It could have no consequences whatsoever. If you didn't have a welfare state, it would just be like, I guess we all get bigger inheritances. Wow. So this is it, huh? No, they're not even taking a stab. Nobody knows? No one knows? Oh my God, the New York Times. Are men the overlooked reason for the fertility decline? Wait, what? Are you getting close to the politically incorrect, meaning the truthful answer? Oh, no, I'm not paying. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wow. Okay, let's try Yandex. What? Okay. Let's try Bing. I am so in the market for a competent, functional search engine. Causes of birth decline. Web Forum, World Economic Forum. Reject all cookies. 50 economic opportunities, social norms, and changing gender roles partly explain why fertility has slowed. 5.2% of women had completed 4 years by their partners. 40% of women have completed 4 years of college. 40%, 4 in 10. And 3 of them actually have real degrees in engineering. I kid. It's only some like 90% of degrees conferred are worthless. Man, they all gotta. Did they ever poll anybody why they're not having kids? Have you thought about polling people? They're focusing on women entering college more and careers. Congratulations. All right. I guess we'll start the conversation with this video then. I all their research and they couldn't poll or find out. This has been going on for 10 years. You haven't asked. They're not wrong taking their stabs at the dark. It's not stabbing at the dark. Yes, you're right. More economic opportunity, women going to college, postponing having kids. But mark my words, I've said it before, the birth rate decline is going to accelerate. It's going to crater. In other words, the rate at which it's going down will increase. It will not be long before you see it going down to about 1.2, maybe 1. You will see that. You will absolutely see that in your lifetime. And they'll be like, oh my, I don't understand. All right. 1 super chat. I roll, therefore I am 10 Canadian. In my early teens, early 80s, I could see what a shit sandwich daycare and divorce were. People thought I was nuts when I was stupid enough to talk about it. Mid-50s now, and I was fucking right. Dude, everyone thought that I remember there was this one kid in high school. People were, and I already knew, like, oh, are you going to have kids? Like, no, absolutely not. Why not? We do things told to do because us IQ 101 obedient NPCs. Why not you do what everybody else does? Because it looks like hell and I can't afford kids. Oh, you're just negative and pessimistic. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, how many of those guys from back in high school? Guarantee you what, about half of them? Half of them are divorced. They gotta be. Those that got married. And what percent are in miserable marriages? Oh my gosh, forget it. Forget it. I'm I'm so happy we got the internet because I could see you younger generations like wake up and realize how many of these institutions under the boomers. I'm not saying the idea of marriage and nuclear families is wrong, but just how it's been so bastardized and decayed and corrupted and destroyed that it's now no, I don't care how long humans been doing it. Nope. Mm-mm. It took independent thought back then. Now you got the internet. You got everybody like, nope, don't get married. No. I roll there for I am too Canadian. By the way, never married, no kids myself. Yeah. I I feel bad for people who are probably in the majority. Most people want to have kids. I think most people do. I think most men and most women want to have a family. So I'm in a very unique or special good position where like, man, I never wanted it. Never wanted it. People I had some people come over to help me with the work I had to do, free beer and pizza, that kind of thing. And I'm like, "You ain't got no kids, do you?" I'm like, "No, I do not." Like, "It's clean." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." It's not like spotless, but everything's put together and where it should be. And they ever want it? No, never wanted them. But I feel bad for I gotta imagine, especially for you Gen Zers, and some of you millennials, you probably did want to have family and kids. Boy, you came into the wrong place at the wrong time for that. What are you supposed to do? You're going to take the chance and the risk, the debt, and young people get together with college loans, and both of you probably have worthless degrees because you believed in that bullshit. You could do whatever you want, money will follow. The hurdles are prohibitive to getting married and having kids now. And yeah, I bet a lot. But boy, it really would be nice to have kids. Well, keep voting Democrat. You need to destroy the nuclear family with government checks. The state could take care of the kids now. That's the new cool hip. That's all the new cool hip kids are getting born. They just dad makes a deposit, fucks off, and mommy gets government aid and free health care and education. The state will raise the kid. Those are the kids getting born now. So you could have a kid, but you gotta be like T Rash or TFM's buddy Halsey. You gotta do your Jewish Batman disappear. All right, there you guys go. I don't what I got. Oh, link below. The dad you never had. If your dad was kicked out of the house through divorce because mommy loved you so much, or your dad was an asshole, your dad was never around, or your dad was there, but he was a ball of sack of wonder putts, as most American fathers are today, and they don't tell you jack fuck all shit about like, I don't know how to do your taxes. Has your dad showed you how to change a tire? Does your dad himself know how to change the tire? Again, the millennial trench of soldiers is over there. Look out for the ill-thrown grenades. The dad you never had. Course on everything your dad should have taught you but didn't. Available on Teachable. And then also is how not to become a millennial, which is obviously a economic sociological analysis of the millennial generation, how they got fucked over and how they can get out of it. But in there are the hard lessons that you should learn that you could get a stable life. Won't say a happy life, a content life, yes, but a happy life, no. You can get the pain can end is basically what I'm saying, and your best chances of having a stable nuclear family if you would like to have one. But that's patriarchy, right, girls? Ew. A husband where we stay at home and raise the kids. Ew. What is it? The 1950s? 10 years later, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom and have them pay for things. Like to pay for it, but we got 40% tax rates because you had to vote leftist Marxist horse shit your entire teens and 20s because you were edgy. I would have the extra money to afford a home, but you see, you took it away in taxes so you could go and pay the money of some complete fucking randos kid so you'd be popular. And that's literally what happened. Ken Rose, he gives a buck. Thank you, Ken. All right, that's it. We'll see you guys later, Toodles.